When Europeans were expanding west, taking over North America.
Having the melanated indigenous people of America received a dime. After hundreds of years of genocide, slavery, and stolen land, we were here first. We were everywhere. We built this land, and they owe us everything. Let's talk about the truth they don't teach you in school. They told us we were African slaves brought here on ships, but many of us were already here. The original people of Turtle Island, melanated, copper-toned, aboriginal, indigenous Americans. Our ancestors were mound builders, star watchers, herbalists, and warriors. We had civilizations all over what you call America before Columbus got lost. They reclassified us as black, Negro, or colored to strip us of our land rights and tribal sovereignty. Then they handed out our land to settlers and called it manifest destiny. That's theft. That's genocide, and that deserves reparations. Let me be clear, this ain't about hate. The so-called Jewish people went through horror, and yeah, they got reparations. Germany paid over $90 billion in reparations to Holocaust survivors. The U.S. also gave funds and continues to protect Israel politically and financially. But meanwhile, melanated indigenous Americans got no land returned, no checks, no justice, just trauma, prison, and poverty.
Struggle, for real, man. They separating us, the penitentiary packed like a slave plantation. Religion dividing us, these preachers preaching slave masters' doctrine. And we splitting ourselves up over colors, flags, and dope. Like we're reaping what we sowed don't apply to us. Our women lost in limbo, trying to raise the children on their own. I don't need to look at the news. All I need to do is look outside my front door. Everybody turning against the men, but don't see what we face every day of our lives, just being black. Real. My mind in a daze.
My mind in a daze.
It feels like I'm losing my screw.
I'm losing my screw.
Lord help me, help me. My mind in a daze, confused and I refuse to lose. I done paid my dues. In the belly get a beat, so I lost my screw. Feels like I'm caged. Now I wonder what the word I'm supposed to do. Tell me what would you do if you had to take a walk in a black man's shoes? My mind in a day, confused and I refuse to lose. I done paid my dues. In the belly get a beat, so I lost my screw. Feels like I'm caged. Now I wonder what the word I'm supposed to do. Tell me what would you do if you had to take a walk in a black man's shoes? In the morning when I wake up, got me wondering why inside I'm crying. Caught up in the system that's against my schism and the black folks dying. Penitentiary is packed, got a whole generation locked up in cages. Take a look at the news, tell me what you see, cause man I lost my patience. I'm sick and tired, everybody wanna holler about the gangsters balling. So tell me why, kids lose their life, black nations falling. Why can't y'all see, there's a plot going on that's moving at a fast pace. And I'm blind to the fact, man, do we be the one that's killing off our own race? About to lose my breathing, cause I'm bleeding on the inside like I'm freezing. I'm facing the sky, y'all, why? Please tell me what be the reason. What about my ceiling? Cause they're living in the world that's leaving and strangling. So many fall on getting involved in the game, and now they little ass tainted. They lie just dangling, and it's hang about their line. Cause the enemy tend to be creeping, the reaper got beef and he catching them sleep falling off by the wayside. So open your eyes, look around and tell me what would you do? I done paid my dues, come and take a walk in the black man's shoes. My mind in a daze, confused and I refuse to lose. I done paid my dues, in the belly get a beat so I lost my screw. Feels like I'm caged, now I wonder what the word I'm supposed to do. Tell me what would you do if you had to take a walk in a black man's shoes? My mind in a day, confused and I refuse to lose. I done paid my dues, in the belly get a beat so I lost my screw. Feels like I'm caged, now I wonder what the word I'm supposed to do. Tell me what would you do if you had to take a walk in a black man's shoes?
They say I'm bad, they call me this, they say I'm that. But what they really wanna say, they hate I'm black. You ask a question, it's obligatory to speak the facts. Stay caught in the days, so in these streets I don't know how to act. I hear it is a problem.
Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 12.
Bring it out.
Woe to him that built up a town with blood. What the Lord say? Woe to him that built up a town with blood.
All these towns in America was built on blood. It was all built on the backs of the slaves, man. The Lord says, woe. Woe is death and destruction, man.
In California tonight.
Read.
Tonight, authorities in Orange County, California, investigating after this horrific crash that nearly killed a fire crew coming back from the front lines. Just before 7 p.m., the fire truck swerving to try and avoid a ladder in the middle of the freeway, rolling over multiple times. The mangled ladder seen on the pavement.
You can see the entire length of that incident, about 500 feet from the ladder to the resting spot of that firefighting truck there. You can see what is left of this transport vehicle. It is completely demolished.
The truck carrying an 8-member Orange County Fire hand crew on their way back from working a 12-hour shift digging lines and clearing brush on the airport fire that's burned more than 23,000 acres near Los Angeles.
All the families were immediately notified.
Make a full end of thee.
Our crews,
but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Still in the hospital, 2 in critical condition, and the chief saying tonight it's going to be a tough road ahead. David.
We are the people who built Noah's Ark. I'm about to prove that to you right now.
Lawyer, I've studied the Bible and walked these woods, and I can prove that this is paradise. And the Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. This sacred spot, contends Callaway, is here to the east of the Apalachicola River in the unspoiled country of the Florida Panhandle. Here grow trees pleasant to the sight, including gopher trees, the long-needled torreya which Noah used to build the ark. A Baptist minister, Callaway started his search after discovering several petrified logs of the wood near the park. That says the woods afire, he says of the discovery, and here his quest ends, where the river winds its way through the green loveliness of his Eden, all described and documented in his book.
Well, Mr. Callaway, you say that this is the Garden of Eden. There it is.
I think about in the center of the garden, north and south. The Garden of Eden, east and west, is not over 10 miles wide, paralleling the river from Chattahoochee down to Bristol, but you're right in the center of it here at Torreya State Park, north and south, between Chattahoochee and Bristol.
Story of the Garden of Eden. The book of Genesis paints a vivid picture of the Garden of Eden. It was a paradise, a place of perfect peace and beauty. Adam and Eve lived there in harmony with God, enjoying the bounty of the garden. A lush garden provided everything they needed, from food to shelter. A serpent tempted Eve with forbidden fruit, leading to a pivotal moment. This led to their expulsion from paradise, marking the end of innocence. The Garden of Eden represents innocence and purity, a symbol of lost perfection.
Related to the Garden of Eden are here, and they are not anywhere else on this earth. This great river, as its source, is one of the largest marble areas in the world. The Tate Marble Quarry and Company there at Tate, Georgia, is one of the largest. So the natural monuments, definitely mentioned and described in the Bible as being related to the Garden of Eden, are here, and they are not anywhere else on this earth. When the idea or the notion or the belief that the Garden of Eden was somewhere else, or over in Europe or in Africa or someplace over there, the Western Hemisphere was unknown. They did not know that the continent existed west of the Atlantic Ocean. Therefore, they couldn't search this continent along with the others to find the River of Four Heads and these other great natural monuments which the Bible said was related to the Garden of Eden.
He clearly stated that the Garden of Eden is not in Africa or the fake Middle East that they made up to throw you off.
Callaway points with pride to the official map of the U.S. engineers at Chattahoochee, which shows what Callaway says is the only four-head river system in the world. That is a system described in the Bible, where in Genesis, the river flowing out of Eden, which waters the garden, parts and becomes into 4 heads. First there is the Gihon, now known as the Flint River, which flows towards the land of Ethiopia. Then the Euphrates, the Spring Creek River, whose name was transferred to the Middle East after the flood. The Hiddekel River is Fish Pond Creek River, which borders the land of ancient Assyria. And finally, the last of the 4 rivers, the wide and lovely Pison, the Chattahoochee, today a river of trade and commerce. The Apalachicola seems an unlikely name for the river flowing through Eden, but here, according to Callaway, is the heart of the garden. This peaceful river is the life source of the lush vegetation of the original habitat of the first man and woman. According to Callaway, the names of these rivers and the land surrounding them were transferred to the other side of the world when, after floating in the ark for 40 days and 40 nights, Noah and his family landed on Mount Ararat in Turkey. The legend of the Bountiful Garden, too, was transferred to the Middle East, where archaeologists have searched in vain for a four-head river system, such as described in the Bible.
So I have shown y'all this book before, the Yucatan Before and After the Conquest. It was written by Friar Diego de Landa. He was actually there with the Israelites, the Indians, the people that they call the Aztecs, the Chiapas. Like, there's so many different tribes because there are 12 tribes, after all, of Israel. So all of them were different tribes. Let's take a look inside. This book is basically talking about those in the South, from Mexico all the way down to South America. They were conquered, but this was the Yucatan where it actually took place. These are the same people that talked about the locusts. We know that about from Pharaoh, the famines. They talked about the flood of Noah. And guess what else they talked about? How they wandered in the wilderness of the Yucatan for 40 years. Of the Yucatan. Okay? Not Africa. The Yucatan, which is in Mexico. Now take a look at the red markings that I have at the top. It says the Indians relate that there came into Yucatan from the south tribes with their chiefs, which are the Levitical priests. That's their chiefs. Okay? And they came from Chiapa. Now, these people, they came from the south, like South America, up to the Yucatan. And that's exactly what's going on right here. So as you can see where I have it underlined, how it was a custom for them to take care of their crippled and their blind. And you know, this fits the Israelites. It also talks about how chiefs were appointed and governors, and their offices were passed down to their sons. These are the Levitical priests. These are the Israelites.
Yeah. Go to Mars. Let's get over here before Christ come back.
Hey, they're not going to Mars, man. Go ahead.
Habakkuk 2 verse 12. Bring it out. Woe to him that built up a town with blood. Woe to him that built up a town with blood.
All these towns in America was built on blood. It was all built on the back of the slaves, man. The Lord says, woe. Woe is death and destruction, man. Read.
And establish a city by iniquity.
America was established by iniquity, by sin, by lies. This whole thing is set up on a lie, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vain. For very vain.
For vanity, man. For the wickedness, man.
it back, take it back. Don't let it go, take it back, take it back. The seeds we sow, take it back, take it back. Let the fire show.
However you may feel about astrology, it was the original science from which all other sciences were born out of. And although today's pop culture paints it as pseudoscience, occult traditions see it as sacred knowledge. While it is a great mystery, it is as predictable as mathematics and experiential for everyone. And today, astrologically speaking, is a very interesting day for America and individual freedom worldwide. Today is 2/22/2022, the first time Pluto is conjunct to the United States since July 4th, 1776. A 248-year event known as Pluto's return. Every time a planet returns to the same degree it was in relation to your location of birth, you experience a return. Many of us can personally understand the idea of Saturn's return. It takes Saturn about 29 years to orbit the Sun, and so it happens roughly around your 29th birthday. Because Saturn symbolizes severity and discipline, this time is known as an era of learning through harsh reality for those who haven't already mastered self-discipline. Pluto symbolizes destruction and rebirth, and so Pluto's return, which lasts about 2 years, is considered to be a time of destruction and rebirth. During the Roman Empire's first Pluto's return, the Septuagint dynasty collapsed, a time known as the crisis of the 3rd century. And their second Pluto return took place 10 years before the end of the Roman Empire. And now America's first Pluto's return on 2/22/2022. 2 times 2 times 2 times 222 equals 1776. It begins on a Tuesday, and it lasts 2 years. Perhaps you dismiss all this as pseudoscience woo-woo, but it is important to know that the occultists who sway the governments of the world do not.
Okay, this one's for all my woke buddies, my people that actually, look into the Bible and research stuff. I have a question, okay? So, our blood, our DNA. I don't know if you guys have heard about something called Rh negative. Well, every human being has a rhesus factor in their blood, or they don't. And if you don't, you're considered Rh negative. I am one of those people. A lot of your celebrities, politicians, famous, rich people also have Rh negative blood. So here's my question. The Bible talks about the fallen angels coming down and having sex with women. Human women, and they created a being of creatures called Nephilim, right? Well, the thing about Rh negative blood is that I've had 3 children, natural, okay? And with Rh negative blood, you have to get 2 shots during your pregnancy. One during the 4th month, and the other one right after you give birth. And it's a shot called Rogam, okay? And they give you this shot because if you're Rh negative blood and your baby has positive blood, your body will literally kill your infant child in your womb. Now, I've thought about this for years. My daughter is now 16 years old, okay? So, years. And I've just wondered, why would God create a human being that has a blood type that would kill his creation, right? And the only logical conclusion I've come to is that it's not of him. It's not his blood type. It's not natural. It's not natural. Doesn't seem natural. So my question, y'all guys out there that, you've looked into the same materials and the same matters. And they even talk about Rh negative blood on Ancient Aliens, right? Now, I don't believe I'm an Ancient Alien. But I'm saying, what if the Rh negative factor is a product of the Nephilim? Just wondering. So please leave your answers or your advice or your opinions in the comments, because this is a topic that really interests me and I don't think it gets enough attention. It's weird. Let me know.
They take this sort of thing very seriously, which could explain why they all seem to be in such a frantic hurry. More than America, July 4th, 1776 symbolizes individual freedom. And so, astrologically speaking, the next 2 years will mark either the destruction or rebirth of these individual freedoms that were born in 1776. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
We gotta gather the sheep.
You're all gonna die! By fire and by his sword, will the Lord produce with all flesh. The slain of the Lord shall be many. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, for the great and the terrible day of the Lord comes.
In which those who were there were like flaming fire. The America stolen land.
For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord.
Now what?
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. That all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And ye shall go forth, and grow up as calves of the storm. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet, in the day that I shall lead you, saith the Lord of hosts. There hath not been never the like, neither shall be any more after, even to the years of many
And they brought me to the
generations.
place of darkness, and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to heaven.
They're the size of a vehicle. New Jersey.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
I wanted to briefly break down and go over some information dealing with Egypt, Judah, and the Americas as a preface to another in-depth video I am currently working on in the subject of ancient books that only secret societies study from. So this is not going to be an in-depth video, just a preface to the one that is to come. Now, these secret societies study from these books, and it is secret only because they keep it from us. And we do need to know it, for our people suffer from a lack of knowledge. So let's get into a little geography. Come with me to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 34 verses 1 through 5. I'm going to be reading from the Geneva Bible of 1560. So it says here, Then Moses went from the plain of Moab onto Mount Nebo, onto the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the cities of palm trees unto Zoar. And the Lord said unto him, This is the land which I swore unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, I will give unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in the valley of the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor, but no man knoweth his burial unto this day. Okay, so we see here that Moses went to the plains of Moab unto Mount Nebo. Now we're talking about the land of Uda or Uda. In other words, that is the country of Utah. Okay, let's see if we can find these locations here in our map system. Okay, so first we're going to go from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, from Mount Nebo to the tops of Mount Pisgah, and from there we'll go over to the area of Jericho. So let's start from our map system here. We're going to go from Moab, Utah, to Mount Nebo, Utah. We're going to use the walking feature, and you can actually walk it. This is about 284 miles total from Moab to Mount Nebo. And look at this, Nephi. Nephi, that is a word that's derived from Naphtali, one of the tribes of Israel. So now we're going to go from Mount Nebo, Utah, to Mount Pisgah, Utah. So from Mount Nebo, near Nephi, we go all the way across to Mount Pisgah, to the right of the Great Salt Lake, just right here. And by the way, Ogden, Utah is a major area for the Internal Revenue Service. And so now we go from Mount Pisgah over to Jericho. It all connects. It all connects. It is all here within walking distance, so that if Moses was standing at the top of the mountain, he could see these areas. They are in distance. He could see them if he stood at the top of this mountain. So when we talk about these areas being in another continent, the African continent or the Asia areas, all of that comes from reconstructed history. Everything was done here and moved there upon Pangea. As Morpheus said in The Matrix, we do not know when we are, and we do not know where we are. They have hidden all of the geographical books and history. So we have to uncover this information by getting into the right libraries, and even if we have to speak a certain language to have access to get to those libraries, then that's what we're going to do. And believe me, that is real. Certain congressional libraries do not allow you into specific sections of the library unless you speak a certain language, an ancient language. Ask me how I know. Now let's go ahead and go back to the Geneva Bible, and we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verses 15. If you look here, it says, "The Lord also shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall lift up his hand over the river, and shall smite him in his 7 streams, and cause men to walk therein with shoes." In other words, dry shod. So this great river that God is speaking of, that he will strike with his hand and split it into 7 streams, is the Great Nile River. Now we all know that the Great Nile River is located in Africa, right? Well, let's look at some information with the Nile. The Nile is, according to Wikipedia, the Nile is a major north-flowing river in northeastern Africa. It flows into the Mediterranean Sea, the longest river in Africa. It has historically been considered the longest river in the world, though this has been contested by research suggesting that the Amazon River is slightly longer. The Nile is among the smallest of the major world rivers by measure of cubic meters flowing annually. Let's drop down here. The Nile has two major tributaries: the White Nile, which begins at Jinja, Lake Victoria, and the Blue Nile. The White Nile is traditionally considered to be the headwaters stream. However, the Blue Nile is the source of most of the water of Nile downstream, containing 80% of the water and soot. If we click on this map here, we can see that this entire thing is the Nile River, spawning from the Mediterranean Sea all the way down into Lake Victoria. So, if you look at the two tributaries we talked about, it's the Blue Nile spawning off here, and the White Nile, smaller but spawning off here. Now, what is the major river in North America? That would be the Mississippi River. Capital M-I, cricket letter I, cricket letter I, P-P-I. You remember saying that growing up to remember how to spell that word? The Mississippi River system. Now, let's go back to the word. It says in verse 15 that God will take his hand with a mighty wind and lift his hand over the river and shall smite him into 7 streams. Okay? Look at this map here. This is the Mississippi River going into the Gulf. Let's count how many streams spawns from this. Missouri, 1. Arkansas, 2. Red, 3. Atchafalaya, 4. Tennessee, 5. Ohio, 6. Illinois, 7. Is that a coincidence? I do not think so. This is the Nile River. They're hiding the information. Now let's confirm it. We're going to go into the secret books that the secret societies read from. And that is indeed the Freemason Society. There are certain levels that give away certain information. And this is where all of your senators and congressmen, this is where they go to get that information. They're not going to get it from universities. The only other way they're going to get it is by continuously searching within the chancellor's libraries, who are the guardians at the universities and state colleges. That's where the information is. So, let's go down to page 25. Let's start reading here. The ancient and mystic Oriental rite is universal and is open to every master mason who believes in the fatherhood of God and the universal brotherhood of all men. The other qualification necessary of the neophyte. Remember Neo from the Matrix. The neophyte is that he shall be honorable and upright in his dealings. Number 4. The cradle of the symbolism used in all masonry is placed by many of the best authorities in that country, which they believe was first inhabited, the plateau of Tartary. Tartary, the empire of Tartaria, is something that we are going to get into much later, but actually sooner than later. This is going to be a big one. This is where the 10 tribes, the lost 10 tribes of Israel, are housed. And from there transmitted to this generation by the sages of India, Persia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. We are not indebted to either ancient Egypt for either religion or masonry, but to America. It is fact that at Memphis, Egypt, in the pyramids, under the guidance of the kings and the mystic rites of masonry, were worked many thousands of years ago, but at that time, Egypt and the continent of America were one and the same. Number 6. In America, rediscovered in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th. Do you see that? Rediscovered after Pangea and the catastrophe that you read about in the book of Ezekiel in the 15th century and repopulated in the 17th. That means everything prior to these centuries is made up history. The remnant, those who are controlling governments today, took the history and tried to write themselves in to make it seem like they've always been there. There's a lot we are going to uncover in future videos. Repopulated in the 17th was recovered Egypt and the Promised Land, or the land of the constellation of the eagle. And we know America is represented by the eagle with the flag. This can go deep, very deep. But I just wanted to break down North America is the Promised Land. And they are keeping that from you. So those that are in Israel right now, fighting to get into certain areas, claiming that this is their land by God, no, it's not. It's here. It's North America. So with that being said, that's going to be it for now. We're going to get into this more in depth in other videos, but I just wanted to break down some of the information that you're going to see in future videos. I'll see you in the next one.